Welcome to the Girl Get Out of Your Head podcast. I am your hostess, Coach Yolanda, and today I'm going to talk to you about Jesus and how he helped me to endure. Yes, I am. Because we go through so much in life that I don't even think we realizing what we're going through because we're always going through something. And a lot of the times when we are going through something, we fail to look at the bigger picture and it just ends with us not even enduring. We just give up so easily, right? And so I thought about as I was reading my Bible how Jesus was like the best example I could think of someone who endured so much hatred, so much despair, so much of just people just treating him as just such. And even today, how, you know, today he's still talked about, and it's either in a negative way or a positive way, but either way you look at it, he is talked about, right? And so I realized that he taught me endurance. He's the only person I know who can go through a slew of things and still just keep going like, it's okay, I'm gonna brush it off my shoulder and keep on going. Because as humans, we get so caught up in what people think about us. We get caught up in how things are happening to us. We get caught up in our emotions. We get caught up in so many things that it's not even funny, to the point where so sometimes we just get lost in the entire process of understanding what's supposed to happen and what's not supposed to happen, right? And so I just want to talk about a key couple of pointers for me that I took away when I look at Jesus' story, of how he just endured so much, right? And the first thing I want to talk about is when he was literally being born, right? And how Mary had him. They were out in the barn, in the wilderness, in the manger. They were out there. And she had that baby, and when she had him, it was amazing how people were still trying to kill him. And he didn't even do anything yet. He just was being in existence. He just existed, because by him existing, it was going to be a game changer. His existence was the game changer. And because he existed, many didn't know how to handle that. And because, of course, his arch enemy, Satan, was trying to take him out either way you look at it, because he was the arch enemy, because his father is the enemy, and they're father and son. So I gotta work this way of killing off something of his, right? Because it was deep. Like, the stories is always deeper than us, but lessons are to be learned as we're going through the process. And so the danger that he went through when the men who set out to kill him was just kind of like very interesting and intriguing, because if you notice, if you go back to your Bible, I believe Joseph, who was Jesus' earthly father, had to take him and Mary and the baby, and they had to move him because people were literally trying to find out what was going on. I think Potiphar, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, but there was he had sent these three wise men, and he wanted because the three wise men, I think they were going to go, and they wanted to bless him. They wanted to bless the baby. They wanted to bless Mary. They wanted to bless Jesus. They wanted to bless Joseph. And they needed to do that. But I think that what happened in the process of them going, they were supposed to send a report back so that he knew exactly where Jesus was located. And because if he knew where Jesus was located, he can just go kill a baby. That'll stop that. That'll stop that right then and there, right? That was the point. It's going to stop it. But it never happened that way. So even at birth, he was enduring someone trying to take his life, right? But because he had the protection of his heavenly father and the protection of his parents on this earth, that didn't happen, right? And so align that with your life. Align that with your life, right? How many times has someone come into your life that tried to destroy you? How many times has someone done something against you that was just unbelievable, unforgivable, that it was meant to take you out? But did it? But did it take you out? Did it do something to you? Yes, it stirred your soul. Yeah, of course. It made you look at that person a little differently, right? But did it take you out? No, it didn't. You know why? Because you got that endurance tenacity. Okay? You got that endurance, tenacity that Jesus gave. He gave. You got that endurance, tenacity that his father gave him that trickled into over to you. You got that endurance, tenacity, right? You got the audacity to have endurance at that, right? So that's one aspect of how I looked at that. Like, they literally tried to take this baby out and was unsuccessful because there was someone blocking that. Now, position that again to look at who's in your life and who blocks those blows. They block those blows from coming at you, right? You don't even feel it, right? And for me, it's my husband. It's my husband for me. It's my sons because they love their mom and nobody's going to do or say anything to their mom. And if anybody tries, they're going to block it, right? And so for me, they block it. Why? Because they love me and they care. Why? Because they don't want to see me in pain and don't want to see me hurt. And it was the same way for Jesus. The enemy was blocked because he was loved and he was cared for. Right? Number 2. He had many who didn't like him or like his message. Say what? What? He had a multitude of many who did not like him or like his message. Why? Because his message was threatening to them. His message was too much. They didn't know how to handle that. They didn't know how to take that. They didn't know what to do with that. What? A message? I don't like him. And Jesus was so smooth. As he grew up on this earth, he was smooth. He didn't get upset. He stayed calm in chaotic situations. He stayed calm. He tried to get rest. He tried to get rest on a boat. And the waters they was going to take him out. They felt as though they was going to perish on that boat. The waters were so strong and they were coming and they were like the waters was real. And they were scared on that boat with Jesus. They were scared. But what did he do? They woke him up. Jesus, we about to perish. Come up here and help us. Come up here and help us. He said a statement. Like, first of all, why are you scared? I'm on the boat with you. I'm on the boat with you. Where is your faith? I'm on the boat with you. Where's your faith? Oh my gosh, I'm on this boat with you. Where's your faith? When you think about that, it's kind of like in the midst of chaos, in the midst of that water, and it's banging up against the boat and the boat rocking real hard. I would have been scared too. I wouldn't have known what to do. I would have been scared too. But he was on the boat, and in my mind, okay, so if he was on the boat, maybe in that moment they didn't have a chance to really think about this because they woke him up. He was sleeping. He was tired. He done a lot of healing, done a lot of talking. So, do you think that he would have allowed us to die on the boat if he's on the boat with us? Now that I think about it, no, I don't think he would have let that happen. But in the midst of being scared, you don't know. You don't know. You like, somebody better come over here because this boat right here, we got to go get this man out. You got to help us out. Right? And so, think about that. You got a message. You got a gift. You have something that you want to give to other people and you want them to know about it. And there may be people that don't agree with your message. There may be people that don't agree with your way of doing things, but it's coming from your heart. And so you think to yourself, they don't like it, but I'm going to endure through the process. They don't like my message, but I'm going to endure through the process. They don't like the way I'm doing things, but I'm going to endure through the process. They don't like me as a human being, but I'm enduring through the process. The endurance that we have is because it's these experiences that we go through that get us to have endurance. It teaches us how to endure through the hardest parts of life, right? Number 3, people spoke negative about him. They were the most cruel, evilest people who spoke the most negative, nasty things and was plotting on this man. And the only thing he was doing was talking about how death will be no more, how famine will be no more, how you won't have to be hungry anymore. You can build your own houses, eat from your own vineyards, how my Father's kingdom is going to reverse all the effects of this crooked system of things. You don't have to worry about money. You don't have to worry about being in poverty. You don't have to worry about the rich being the richest and you being the poorest. You don't have to worry about your kids going to school in a bad neighborhood. You don't have to worry about the bullying. You don't have to worry about mental health. You don't have to worry about suicide. You ain't got to worry about homicides. You ain't got to worry about none of that. You ain't got to worry about sickness. You ain't got to worry about none of that. Because my Father's kingdom is going to fix it. Now, I don't know about you, but that message right there got my ears on perk, got me wondering what's really going on, got me looking at the world in a different spotlight, got me saying it could be better than this. This can't be the only way we got to live down here. So why would they not want that type of message? Because it's positive. It provides hope. It gives people what they need in times of distress. So they talk negative about him because he wanted to give you hope. He wanted to give you peace. He wanted to give you something to look forward to. He wanted to give you something that you needed. And so the negativity was overcoming, but the positive message was always prevailing. The positive message would always prevail because anytime you got negative and positive will always outweigh negative because negative can go strong for so long, but the positive ways of handling those things, the way that you see that, the way that you endure that, the way that you speak about that will always be the way that you're going to be living your life. And the way to do that is in harmony and peace with your message and with your gift to the world. That's it. That's it. And that's what it's all about, right? The positive will always overcome. So Jesus always spoke positive things. He always spoke about peaceful things. He always spoke about things that could give people peace and hope. But the people who didn't believe in the message, the ones who had little faith, the ones who were in this negative headspace and spiraling out of control, was not the ones for him. They weren't his people. But he wanted to help them as much as he wanted to help every last person on this earth, right? And so he continued with the message in hopes that they would understand that he's trying to provide you hope. Hope is the greatest thing that you can ever have. Hope is the things that's unseen. It's the way to live because I hope, right? To hope is to have faith, and to have faith is to have your hope and to understand and to endure through the process, right? And here's another one. He never lost focus. No matter what they did to him, he never lost focus. When he went into the man's house and he told them that the little girl was sleeping, you remember that? You remember that, right? He went into the man's house and they basically found Jesus. He was out there, he was preaching and whatever, and he was like, can you come back to my home? My daughter, she died, and X, Y, and Z. And when he gets there, the people are inside the house, and he makes a statement, and he says, she's just sleeping. And they laughed at him. They laughed at this man who could clearly resurrect this child. But you're laughing at this man who could clearly resurrect your child. The guy wasn't laughing, but the people that was in the space, the naysayers, the unbelievers, the one that didn't have a lot of faith, they couldn't, there was no way possible that he can bring the child back. She's dead. But he said she's sleeping, right? And so he never lost focus of performing the miracles. He never lost focus of performing what was needing to be done because he knew there was a bigger picture, right? And so you can't lose focus of what needs to be done in your life because there's a bigger picture. There's someone who is depending on you to literally help them through life, right? There is someone who's depending on you to give them the positive energy that you got so they can make it through another day. There is someone who is depending on you to be a light in their life and they can't make it without you. So he never lost focus of the message of how to teach. He never lost focus of giving up, to give the hope. And he resurrected that child and their mouth dropped. Their mouth dropped because, why did their mouth drop? Their mouth dropped because he was basically doing the work that his father intended him to do, and he was showing them with his actions. So you've been given a gift that you need to do, and how do you do that? You got to show the people with your actions. Words mean nothing if you ain't got the action behind it, baby. It don't mean a word of a thing. Your actions are everything. And Jesus was showing up. He never lost focus because he was showing up every day. He's never lost focus because he was showing up and doing the work. He was doing the work, right? Next one. He healed and helped all he could. In the midst of disaster, he was healing people. He healed the blind man, right? He resurrected the little girl. He resurrected Lazarus, his best friend, like one of his friends, Mary and Martha. They were his friends, and their brother passed away. And he resurrected them, right? He was expelling demons from people. He was feeding the multitude. I don't know about you, but the man literally fed people with 2 baskets. 5,000 to be exact, right? 2 baskets, a basket of fish and a basket of bread. He had one, I don't understand. After they ate, it was more left over. You can have seconds and thirds and fourths and fifths if you wanted to, because he said it was abundance left over. So he healed and he helped all he could because he wanted people to see that my Father can do this on a multitude, on a bigger scale. I'm just showing you what's possible if you believe and if you have hope. If you believe and if you have hope. If you believe and if you have hope, you got your faith, it's going to work out. So you're helping people, right? On a bigger, grander scale. You may do food drives. You may, give of yourself when you see someone on the corner and they got a sign and they ask for $5 or ask for $10 or they just ask for something, and you're seeing them and they're wanting something. They're wanting to help. They're needing help. No, you don't know their situation. You don't know if they're telling the truth or if they're lying, but it's not your call. It's not your call to think if someone's lying, if someone's telling me the truth. It's not your call. The only thing that you can possibly do is to either be of service and to help in the midst of that situation, or just do nothing and walk away. But I don't know about you, I like to help. If I have it, I'm going to give it. And I'm not going to look for anything in return. Because Jesus taught me to do that. He taught me not to ever look for anything in return, because my Heavenly Father will always provide. And you got to understand, He will always provide. Right? Last but not least, down to the very end of His life, He stayed faithful to His Father and to the kingdom message. He stayed faithful. They literally spit on Him, beat Him, called Him names, had Him dragging His own torture stake with Him. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, mentally, I don't know if I can endure that. Mentally, I don't know if I got a mob of people around me trying to take me out, if I could endure that. Beating me, I'm bleeding, I'm dehydrated, I'm tired, they're mocking me, and He stayed faithful. He stayed faithful to the very end of His life. You got to stay faithful to what you believe. If it's not hurting anybody, You stay faithful to what you believe. Understanding that life is about your choices. It's about your decisions. And every choice you make, every single day that you wake, it's your choice. It's your decision. But it's also in reference to you being who you are to be. What does that look like for you? What does that entail for you? Do you like the person you are today? If not, change it. Do you want to be better? Change it. Endurance is what Jesus taught me because he went through so much. And when I think about his life, I think about all that he went through. And I think about everything he did for me. He died for my sin. He died for your sins. Because we sin every day. I don't know about you. I'm not perfect. So when I wake up and I get a bad thought, I'm sinning. If I forget to say my grace, I'm sinned. If I don't like something that somebody did to me and I come out with an attitude, I'm sinned. But I've learned to humble myself. I've learned to take the bitter with the sweet. And I've learned that not everybody's going to rah-rah for Coach Yolanda. Not everybody's going to rah-rah for me as a person. Not everybody's going to be rah-rahing for you. And that is okay because you're learning how to be okay with not worrying about someone else's opinion about you. Jesus went through a lot. He went through a lot down to the very end. He went through the most excruciating, painful life situations he possibly could. The guy, Judas Iscariot, was supposed to be his homie. We was homies. You sitting at the table and you breaking bread with me. You drinking wine with me. But at the same time, you want to go ahead and betray me for a couple of pieces of silver to make you feel good. A couple of pieces of change that was going to make you feel better. You want to go ahead and go ahead and turn on me. But that's every day in this world. People turn on people every single day. And you know what's the crazy part about it is? Is that they're okay with doing that. People will stab you in your back and they're okay with doing that. Because that's the system we live in today. It's the system of get or get got. But the reality of it is neither one of those have to be your reality if you position yourself and really look at the people in your circle. Be wise about the decisions that you're making. Be wise about the choices that you're making. Be wise about the friendships that you're enhancing. And understand that everybody is not going to rah-rah for you. Because clearly Jesus was the example. His homie. Breaking bread with him. He went ahead and he turned Jesus in for some money. He turned him in for some money. Peter denied him 3 times. Jesus said, you're going to deny me 3 times by the time a crow, you're going to deny, when the third crow, you're going to deny me 3 times. Absolutely not. I'm not going to do that, Father. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to deny you. I would never do that. And Peter believed that he wasn't going to do that. He thought that he was strong enough to do that. But when you're in tight situations and the mob is there and other people are there and people are pointing the finger at you, you get lost. And you're like, wait a minute. You know what? I don't know him. I won't with him because you're scared for your life. But the reality of it is he already told you that was going to happen. And you didn't intentionally do it. You just was scared for your life. And fear will be the factor in a lot of situations. Fear will be the factor where you turning in your own people because you're just scared, right? But when you build your faith, it doesn't matter. You could be scared all you want. And I love the saying is, what can man do to me that God cannot undo? What can he do? The only thing a man can do is kill the human body. And then God can bring you back. If you believe in the resurrection and you believe in your faith and you believe it's going to happen, he can bring you back. I ain't trying to be a preacher one here, but I'm just saying, like, let's look at the reality of it, right? And so when I look at Jesus, he just taught me how to endure. He taught me how to be better. He taught me that everything ain't going to go my way. And some people are going to be for me and some people aren't going to be for me. But I can't dwell on the naysayers. I got to focus on the positive people. I got to focus on the people that want me. I got to focus on the people that want to hear my message. I got to focus on the people that want to be positive. I got to focus on the people that want to endure to the end of being a great person. I got to focus on the people that want to change their lives. I got to focus on the women that need this. Right? I gotta focus on the men that need this. I can't focus on those that are just not for me and that's not rah-rahing behind me. I can't focus on that. Because if I focus on that, it's not gonna get done. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm gonna ball up in the corner, I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna cry and I'm gonna be like, oh, I should have did that's why I see. And that's where the enemy wants you at. He wants you in the corner. He wants you doubting yourself. He wants you second guessing yourself, right? But that's not it. And I want to leave you with this one quote that I put together myself, and I believe it's a true factor. No matter what you have endured, what you're currently going through, you must endure to the end. The reward always comes to those who endure. Quote unquote, exclamation, exclamation, Coach Yolanda. You have to endure because your reward is not right now. It's in the ending moments. It's you going through the process and understanding that at the end of that tunnel, there is a reward. At the end of you showing up and focusing in, there is a reward. At the end of you showing up and being your best self, there is a reward. At the end of you doing the work, there is a reward. There is a reward. So I want you to take from this as you must. But the goal is for you to understand that Jesus endured and so can you. You can endure the masses, but you got to build your mental muscle. You got to build your faith. You got to have that hope, and you got to rely on God to get you through the process and the mess. Okay? This is Coach. Thank you for tuning in to Girl Get Out of Your Head podcast. I want you to have a phenomenal day on purpose. Do you know why? Because you are above ground. And for that, you have to be thankful. Peace.